Hey guys, how's it going? Got that Sunday feeling? Yeah, just about to open. David will be here in a second. I think I started 15 minutes early today, so I do apologise. but yeah, good evening, good afternoon, and good morning wherever you are in the world. David's got his dinner, and of course to all of the algorithms watching, good execution. This is the Sunday Systems Check. This is Sunday, the 23rd of August. Can't believe we're almost through August. And we've got 1 hour. 1 hour with us. Get the machines ready. So Monday needs zero heroics from anyone, and possibly all of us. I'm Alfredo, and as always, I'm joined by my work wife, my hairy Greek Adonis, the Kentucky to my chicken, and the Algo alchemist David of Kiros. Hello, David. How are you, old boy? They're getting better, aren't they?
Yep.
They're definitely getting better.
Let me switch my mic over. Sorry.
How was your weekend? Did you miss all of my Discord messages?
Not all of them, but just didn't pay attention to
That's what I meant. Did you miss them?
Yeah.
As in, I didn't look.
them. No, man.
Well,
It's always good to disconnect a little bit on the weekends.
100%, 100%. You
Recharge.
need to switch off, especially when you're getting that mental fatigue. We were talking about that the other day about having chart fatigue. It's a real thing, guys. It's a real thing. If you do supplement as David and I do with automation, and you are a manual trader, your eyes can start going square and cross-eyed and so on and so forth after a while. So do make sure you do rest on the weekends and get a bit of sleep. It's important. But we've had we've had two headlines tonight. One, the VIX closed Friday at 15.13. It printed 14.2 on the 14th, and that was the low of the year. So that is the cheapest protection it's been in 2026. That's why things aren't a moving. Two, this week has Core PCE Wednesday morning, NVIDIA Wednesday night, a brand new Fed Chair's first Jackson Hole keynote on Friday, and the annual benchmark revision that rewrites even 12 months of payroll data, same Friday morning. And I apparently can't talk and I'm tongue-tied. Four binary events, lowest volatility of the year. Those two facts are sitting in the same room and they've not been introduced. So it's getting awkward. On Friday, I told you this show on our show where we'd this show today even where we'd build the gates for PC and NVIDIA. If you do build gates, that sounded weird. That's exactly what's the back half of tonight is. So if you came because I promised you that on Friday, stay, it will be coming. We've got a little bit on there today. We've got a little segment on there today. But we're not going to predict any of it because we don't predict. We're going to build the levels, set the gates, and decide in advance what to do. So that's on Wednesday at 8:30 when we are executing a plan instead of forming an opinion, because these are the ones that you can get in front of. You can do a little bit of prep with these. I like doing a bit of prep, but automation on, discretion off. Let's get it going. Yes. So three things on the board, and that's the running order for the next couple minutes at least. One, and this is the thesis for the whole night, the long end is sitting the price now, not the Fed. You surely heard me harp on about the 30-year hit, that 5.32 blah 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 percent on Tuesday, the highest since 2007. The gross US debt crossed $40 trillion. That's a big old number. Treasury stepped in and doubled its buybacks and got exactly one session of relief for it. So every single thing that happened on your equity screen last week was downstream of that one relationship. We'll do that properly in a minute or two. Two, four binary events this week with the VIX one handle off of the low of the year. So that's going to be interesting. Three, this is the bit that actually makes you, hopefully, fingers crossed, a little bit of money. Gates before opinions. By the end of this hour, I'll tell you what I'm blacking out this week anyway. And Dave doesn't like it when I say this, but I strongly believe in this and agree on my personal sizing for the day. 1 second, let me move things around, Dave. Is that better, Raf?
It's still cutting off some.
Really? There you go. We'll cut us out for the minute. Apologies, guys and girls. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about a little bit of sizing, what I'm going to do each day, and I'll write down my invalidation levels before anyone has a real feeling about what PCE is going to the print. So you'll have a little bit of a plan of what I'll be doing anyway, but the order matters. Plan first, opinion second. So do it the other way around, and the plan just becomes a justification for the opinion, and a lot of the time a reason why it went wrong. But yeah, that is pretty much it. So quick note on our wonderful sponsors. Yeah, the people that are kind enough to keep our wonderful ClearEdge user base stocked with free accounts. They've been great to us. Use on Blue Sky code ClearEdge for a third off all accounts, and that code, fingers crossed, will stay live all season. So we're giving away another free account today. Giving away another free account. So do get in the chat the word ClearEdge. That's it. That's the whole entry. One, obviously, per person. We're not having any extra ones today, are we, Dave?
No, maybe interaction if we see people really interacting.
Yeah, if we like you, we'll give you an extra one. But yeah, spamming it doesn't always improve your odds. It just makes David's job harder, and David's the one holding the wheel. So be real nice. We'll draw it at the end of the show. Same show, same night, so you don't have to come back and see it. So get in the chat now, and yeah, we'll pull it out at the end. Yeah, we'll move on. Dave, how's your week been? How's your week been, and how are you gonna? You got any plans for next week?
Yeah, it's been pretty good, man. I've been having a very hot month, so this whole month has been filled with quite a bit of payouts. So I'm pretty happy with that. Next week, so early in the week, my wife is gone, so I'm gonna have the kiddos for the first part of the week to myself. But I do have a babysitter all 3 days, so hopefully it won't be too bad.
Fingers crossed you won't be completely annihilated by the kids. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, their poopers have like a timer, and it's like like an inconvenience timer. They like to do it like at the worst possible times.
Is Daddy working? Is he in the middle of a trade? Yes, I'm gonna soil myself. Yeah, I get it.
Pretty much how it goes.
Mine are similar, but my little boy just comes in. He's 3 now and just looks at me and goes, "Daddy, I need some help," and that's either for a wipe or a run. And it's happening now. So yeah, I don't get a lot of warning, and then I instantly move over to the remote control, which is a lovely feature, by the way, ClearEdge, and sit there and trade either like whilst doing things that I wish I wasn't doing, or
Yep.
Anyway, enough about our child's toilet habit, I reckon.
Yeah,
habits even. So yeah, let's have a quick chat about the week that was. This week in one broad sentence: the equity's lost, and the bond market is the entire reason why. You heard me harping on about this. I'm going to harp on a little bit more about it, but that 30-year touched an amazing level on Tuesday, even the highest since 2007, since the pandemic. That feels like a long time ago, doesn't it? Not since the pandemic, sorry, but since the pandemic feels like a long time ago as well. I completely misread that. I do apologize. It's been a long Sunday, but the highest, yeah. Look at the shape of the equity damage, because of the shape is the tell. The NAS, the NQ was minus 2.1%, the Dow minus 0.8%. And here's why that gap exists. When you value a company, you're guessing at what it earns in the future, and then discounting that back to what it's worth today. The thing you discount it by is the long-term interest rate. So the further into the future of a company's profit set, the more damage a rising long rate does to what it's worth right now. So tech profits sit the furthest out, and that is really it. And that's the whole mechanism that's, I think, hurting this at the moment. So NASDAQ gets hurt most because the NASDAQ is the longest duration bet pretty much in the room. So yes, that is the duration story, and the NQ and YM spread is the cleanest read on it. So we'll come back to that in a minute on a bit about the ES as well. But then Tuesday, the Treasury responded. They at least double the long end buybacks, 2 billion to at least 4 billion per operation, 10 to 20, 20 to 30 year running. The 9th of November through the 4th of 9th of September through the 4th of November. That's a confirmed press release, not a rumor. So yields dropped hard, 30 year down more than 10 basis points. 10 basis points. And by Friday's close, it went back to 5.28. So it's a bit of a whiplash. One session, that's how long the relief lasted. We spent quite a little bit about this on Friday, so I'm not going to keep going on and on and on, but it is really important. So here's the condensed version for anyone who missed it, because everything tonight kind of sits on top of it. The Treasury funds those repurchased by issuing more bills, short paper in, long paper out, the maturity swap point. Short, yeah, it's a maturity swap. The shape of the debt, it changes. The size of it does not. And the very same week, the US debt crossed that $40 trillion. $40 trillion, Dave. It's crazy, isn't it? And as of Tuesday, the months earlier than the CBO expected. So when the internet decided a buyback was liquidity and Bitcoin ran 22% on that read, the tape disagreed inside that 48 hours. So that's not a crypto story. That's a term premium story wearing a crypto costume. And all of the crypto bros, I guarantee, will be buying some new Prada this week. Anyone that's been holding it that long anyway. Dave doesn't like crypto. I'm not a big fan of crypto. But yeah, it was a fun week. A fun week.
Why do you say I don't like crypto?
Because you said that literally on Friday.
I just trade it differently. Like I dollar cost average into Bitcoin, and that's pretty much it. I don't like any of the coins that have like a development team and can be manipulated. But Bitcoin, I
because that sounded like a bit of an aggressive response. Have I hit a nerve?
No.
You said to me, and I quote on Friday, "Why would I mess with crypto? I make enough on the futures." Did you not?
Yeah. Okay. I get what you're saying. No, I'm talking long-term holding.
Yeah, so, I'm not a holder.
Yeah, I have some miners that I buy, some Fidelity miners for Bitcoin, and then I'll dollar cost average into Bitcoin I'll just keep doing it.
If you know how to play with it, don't get me wrong, it's fun, but it's so volatile sometimes. It's painful. It's real painful.
Yep. I wouldn't day trade it. It's not really my thing. I wouldn't really swing trade it either.
All right. There's a certain amount of stuff that you can do with it, but I'll be honest with you, I'm just need to get my NQ back up again now. My NQ game has been rough the last couple of weeks, and I feel like I need to focus on what I need to focus on. It's been a hellhole of low volume, and I clearly don't operate very well in this, but you know, fingers crossed. This time last year I was cruising, absolutely cruising. It's crazy, isn't it, how it can all change, and it's not necessarily always the same instrument every day or month on month or even year on year. This time last year I just bought myself a brand new car because it was going so well, and I think my hotspot of the year was August through till sort of October time.
Yeah, I mean,
It's so much fun.
what makes a good trader is our ability to adapt to the different market conditions. So
Agreed.
the
Agreed. Agreed. It's your time to adapt to what's going on the chart, and noticing what's going on and how things are changing, and how the rhythm is dancing about. Yeah. And yeah.
yeah, JTV. What do you mean by crypto tokens? So like how many? I mean, I can't afford a full Bitcoin, so I'm buying I'm buying partials.
I mean, if you've got some spare, bro, send it my way.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
We've got
not
plenty of
Bitcoin
dudes.
automation. Although I think Brad has created some settings in the past for Bitcoin futures um, that did decent.
I thought this was BTC automation. God no, I don't automate BTC. God no, Static Forest.
Yeah, I mean the commissions are so much higher on Bitcoin, and you're basically trading a micro and paying like a mini price for like the commissions.
Mm. And guys, we've got a lot going on at the moment, and we're going to do a bit on this in the week to come. We've got single stock futures where I don't even know when we're going live. I can't remember. I did look it up, and we've got our nanos coming soon.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we're already live with them. It's just about when the prop firms pick them up and like start letting us trade them.
Exactly, and it's going to be an interesting take because I don't know how the prop firms are going to do it.
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting, but we'll have a little segment on that in the next few shows. And once the prop firms do pick this up and the single stocks, it's going to change the game. And a lot of the big boys are saying that it's going to bring a lot more traders into futures because of the tax purposes and so on and so forth that we haven't seen in this game before, and it's gonna hopefully spice things up just that little bit extra. But we need a little bit of spice in our life at the moment because I'll be honest with you, it's been crap. But anyway, a lot of the algos have been going well. We're developing another one at the moment. We've got playing on, and I think we spoke to you guys briefly on Friday about the changes up to the MMA signal as well, which I'll talk about in a bit. But what we got next? Let's have a look what we got next. So we got some bits on Besant's Monday presser, guys. This is one to watch out for. Weekend Wire, and this is the one that has to be priced at 6 o'clock. Besant holds a press conference tomorrow laying out how the US isolates Iran's economy, and this is quite important. Bloomberg has it. It's a confirmed report, not a rumor, and I'm saying that deliberately because half of what's circulating about this story is neither. What changed underneath it? The UAE halted all trade and financial dealings with Iran on the 19th, and that's important. After Iran's the Iranian ballistic missiles were fired at their territory, and that's the Emirates, not a marginal player. Nearly 20 of those ADNOC vessels attacked in the Strait since this began. So the June memorandum that gave safe passage was written for 60 days only. And I'll be honest with you, news is telling us lots of different things at the moment, but that's quietly run out with nothing behind it at the moment. So this is where most people are getting oil wrong. So let's try and look into it. There's a difference between a geopolitical risk premium and a physical disruption. And that term structure will tell you which one you're looking at. So pull up the front 6 months of the crude curve in the front spread in the steep. Well, it's the near months priced well above further months. So the market is telling you barrels are actually missing from the numbers, physically gone. If instead the whole curve lifts in parallel, that's fear. That's fear. That's what they're showing you, and that's a premium being paid for the possibility of a disruption that hasn't happened according to the numbers. So those look identical on a daily price chart. They're completely different trades with completely different risk. One resolves when the barrels come back. The other resolves the moment somebody makes a phone call. Normally Barron. I won't say that again. But the fact that the cuts against, the fact the cuts against the panic that the US military says it's escorted over 660 million barrels through Hormuz since early May. So the barrels are technically moving. But the one thing that will cost somebody, a bit of money, and the front month WTI is October now. The September expired on Thursday. If you're quoting $87 off a chart that hasn't rolled, you're quoting the wrong contract. But yeah, a little bit of oil for you boys and girls. I love a bit of oil. Do you know who loves oil? Vector loves oil. If you haven't checked out Vector on the marketplace, check out the MCL Vector. You can check it out on vectorplatinum.net as well. He's got all of the results. Lovely chap. He's always around for a chat as well. Check him out if you get a chance, because there are so many tickers that you can play with that on, and it's not. I think it's cheap for what it is. Personally, it's a really good one to have in your arsenal. What dropped after the bell? The weekend wire. The second wire. This one's for grain. We don't talk about grain enough, Dave. We should talk about grain some more. But I was doing some digging on this over the weekend. But stay with me if you've never...
looking to create some settings on it.
Yeah, man. Why not? Why not? And this is something that came up. If you've never touched corn in your life, yeah, have a look, because the mechanism applies. This mechanism applies pretty much everywhere. But Friday evening after the close, the Pro Farmers Crop Tour published 3,000 fields, 7 states, over 100 scouts. They put corn at 173.2 bushels per acre. The USDA is carrying 180.7. So that's 7.5. That's a 7.5 bushel gap, and that's technically 669 million bushels. I like saying that word, bushels of corn that the government thinks exists, and the scouts are saying they're not there. That's not a rounding error. That's a carry-out level hole in the balance sheet that it's not being reported, and it dropped after the close. So what makes it the only story on this board anyway, with a mechanical Sunday night gap? Corn and beans reopen at 8 tonight with that number unpriced. So before anyone gets excited, if you can see that, 2 things. One, the market has been trading this tour all week. So the scouts publish daily, state by state. So tonight is not pricing 669 million bushels. It's pricing the residual. The difference between what the crowd already expected and what actually printed, that's a much smaller number, and it's precisely why the gaps like this so often fill by Tuesday. So yeah, it's not always about the corn. It's a number. A number is only tradable to the extent it differs from what is already expected. So not in the extent it's massive. It's not big. Every earning beats that sold off. Every earning, it's the same lesson. So beans technically went the other way. 53.3 against the USDA's 52.7. So corn bearish for the supply, beans mildly bullish for the supply. When the 2 legs disagree, the clean expression isn't a flat long in both, it's the ratio. So the bean/corn spread. A spread trade means you're long on one and short on the other. So you're betting on the relationship rather than whether the whole complex goes up or down. So it takes the weather, the dollar, and the general GG tape out of the equation and leaves you with the thing that you actually have on as an opinion, So yeah, take a look. It's not something I generally trade, but yeah, it's worth taking a look at. But enough about those corny buggers. Let's talk about some red folder. What we got? So yeah, we got that presser that we spoke about on Monday. That's that's the big one. A lot of my friends that are experienced traders are talking about this. So keep an eye open on that. It's definitely worth having Bloomberg open to keep an eye on the reaction. Tuesday, supply 2s and 5s at 1. Wednesday, it's the crush. It's the PCE at 8:30. The 7-year auction at 1, and Nvidia after the close. That's the big one. That's the gold one. We've technically got, 2 gold days this week. But I say gold because they're the ones to circle in your diaries. But Nvidia after the close normally has a big reaction. We spoke about this on Friday, but I do like to keep an eye on the reaction and then the reaction, if you know what I'm saying. So definitely worth having Asia open. Sorry.
Always a fun one to watch.
It's definitely fun to watch, and it's generally one big reactive candle. And then the last few times I've traded it, it's been a nice reaction to catch some points off of. So definitely have a look at that one, guys. I'll have that one open on Wednesday.
How much is Nvidia, like, as far as like overall, like,
market,
like Nvidia on the Nasdaq? Because I think it's a huge portion of
it's a very large portion. Yeah, it's a very large portion. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's big enough for a reaction.
Yeah.
So it definitely may tell more about the day afterwards, or just as much as the day afterwards as it does in the initial reaction. So it's the market is hopefully going to speak volumes after that release. So guys, yeah, be careful and definitely don't be holding any trades overnight unless you know something that I don't know. And if you do know something that I don't know, give me a call and I'll give you a kiss on the cheek. Thursday, what we got good old Jackson Hole claims at 8:30. Friday, we've got the Warshy boy, his first keynote as chair, and then 10 o'clock, the BLS benchmark revision. 3 things about that shape. So first, Wednesday has to price a macro print and a mega cap print on the same book, and the mega cap print lands when the cash market is shut. So that matters more than it sounds. Go away, Discord. Nvidia's weight in the index, as Dave just said, it means its after hours move transmits straight to NQ and ES overnight. In late August, liquidity with no cash market to absorb it isn't a stock event, it's an index event wearing a ticker. That was a nicer way of what I just said. But second, Friday, 10 o'clock, and almost nobody covers this. It's the annual benchmark revision. Once a year, the BLS reconciles its survey-based payroll estimates against actual, God, that's a mouthful, unemployment, insurance, tax records, covering nearly every employer in the country. It's the closest thing to a census the jobs data ever gets. So keep an eye. Why you care? So last year's revisions took May and June down a combined 103,000. July printed minus 23,000. So if the preliminary benchmark lands heavily negative, it retroactively rewrites how strong the labor market has actually been. So it tells a little bit more behind the scenes. 3 weeks before the September FOMC. God, is it really that long? I can't, yeah. Anyway, yeah, so it prints at 10, not 8:30, into a thin Friday on the same morning as the chair. So it's going to be an absolute, yeah, it's going to be a fun one. So I always go to swear there. David tells me off all the time for swearing. Apparently I've got a mouth like a fisherman's wife. I do apologize. That's why you see me pause every now and again. It's because I'm removing the F's and the C's. But it's going to be thin, wide and reflexive. That's the market structure warning, regardless of the number. So another one to watch. So third, go and look at the commentary still circulating about the hike, the 65% September hike. I've got a feeling that it's a crock of crap. That number is from the 3rd of August, so it's 3 weeks stale. and it's technically more than halved now. So we're roughly at 30% now, down from 82% in late July. So if you see that figure out and about this week, you're reading a recycled article. But yeah, I mean, like what I read today, I wanted to put this in there, that the real point, which is the most useful thing, 69% of fund managers are expecting wash to sound neutral, and so am I now. It might have been a whole lot of fuss for nothing, but yeah, let's see what Warshy's got to say. I quite like Warsh. Have you seen any of his press conferences yet, Dave?
No, but he seems pretty level-headed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we haven't had a big Trump reaction to him yet. I want to see if they're either going to be at each other's throats or are they going to be friends? Can we all just get along? All right. Yeah, let's move along. Let's have a look at some of the risers and fallers. And I've been reading into Moderna again. Moderna got a lot of bad press because of the jabs and all of the bits and bobs during COVID, but they've had some interesting news the last couple of weeks. But I'll go on about those for a minute. So Moderna, because it's the best teaching example of the week, and it's got nothing really to do with the macro. It's just a bit of technology. Wednesday, they had a really, really positive phase 3 melanoma data with Merck, the first successful late-stage readout of any mRNA cancer therapy. So the stock absolutely went through the roof. It went up 177%, I think it was, in one session. But Thursday, it gave back close to 20%. And then Friday, it added back close to 10. So let's call it 130% on the week. I like Moderna stock. Yeah, they've got some positive things after all of the COVID bad news. But yeah, what we got? So on Friday, I did sort of talk a little bit about Moderna, and I said Moderna was NVIDIA in miniature, and that we'd deal with it a little bit more. So some shape Wednesday night, and this time we know it's coming. Which means the answer isn't a prediction. It's technically a gate for me anyway, but we'll move on to that later on. And it's why the back half of the show exists. So size for the tail, not for the thesis. Right. Everything else on the left is one idea expressed four ways. Bit of Bitcoin. I can't believe Bitcoin again. Robinhood, gold at a 3-month high and the dollar at a 3-month low. People buying things that can't be printed in the same week the government's gross debt crossed 40 trillion. I keep saying that because it's a massive number. And the Treasury had to intervene again. We said that a moment ago, but that's one trade, 4 tickers. Yeah. On the right, the same discipline, Walmart. We spoke about this on Friday, minus 9%. Poor Walmart on its worst day in 4 years. And read the reason carefully. Revenue beat, EPS beat. What killed it was the US comps at 2.6%, the weakest in over 6 years, and a soft forward EPS guide. But beats are not enough. The market pays for the quarter, and the quarter already happened. Nobody's buying the past. NVIDIA was down 4.6 on the week, 6 straight decline, walking into Wednesday's print. But we'll find out a little bit more about that on Wednesday. The NAS, yeah, we spoke about that, and you know, there's been some moves in the old markets, as there always is. But yeah, let's have a quick recap, guys. If you haven't already got your Clear Edge in the chat, you've just joined us. Please do enter our competition. We've got an account. We want to give it away, and we want to show you how cool Blue Sky are. They are our sponsors of tonight. I've said this couple weeks in a row now. They've been giving out different size accounts. So if you're really lucky, you might get a 200k. If you're just sort of lucky and you just win it, you might get a 50k. But let us know how it goes. We want to know how your winning trade goes, your winning account goes. Even Dave, I'm going to ask you. I ask you this every week. What are you doing on Wednesday? Are you trading? Are you going to be automating on Wednesday?
I mean, if it's an eval, yeah. Yeah.
Good answer. All right. So, do you on these tricky days consider a size down? What was
No, I
that?
don't. I'm sorry, man. I got my son. Yeah. I don't really size differently unless I'm manual trading based
Okay.
on news. So if it's an algorithm, I'm typically like set on my size because I plan all that out ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really adjust my size on the fly when it comes to automation.
We got a question just pop up. Davion Jarladon.
Yeah,
Hello, Davion. Good strategy to buy in the marketplace. Well, I'm a little bit biased.
dude.
Yep.
I mean, I know we talked about it on Friday, but the band stuff that I
Yeah.
have, like, dude, it's like, for one, it's cheap, so you can get in there. It's super inexpensive to get it. And man, this, like I said, those settings have been going strong for like 8 months. And then you also have the Punisher stuff. Vector's really good. Man, you really can't go wrong. There's nothing really on the marketplace. If you get the right settings and you get the right stuff, you'll be set up. It's just about making sure that you get the right things set up on your account.
So we have tons of stuff on the marketplace, and the nice thing about the ClearEdge marketplace is that all of the algorithms and all of the bits and bobs that you can find on there has all been tested by us boffins. So it's we don't just let any old riffraff in. There's so many different things on there that you can use to all different tickers, all different styles of trading, and a lot of them are still, I think they are still available on a 7-day trial. If you do want to hear more about them and any of our creators, there are tabs in the Discord there that you can get in contact with the people that actually make them. David and I, we run a one called the MMA, and on the gold bundle, you can get hold of our 2 MMA signals, which are trading in the background, which is manually managed automation. If you want to check out some of that, please do give us a shout. We're always here to help. But I love Vector. I absolutely love Vector. They're brilliant. Vector's such a nice guy as well. Kevin's Elevated Market Ninja is a good one as well because it works on a few different things. NMS is brilliant on gold. Dave is the brain bunch behind the Kiros stuff. He's always there to answer the bands, the MA, and of course His Majesty's Cipher. There's lots of things on there, but if you do want some demos, if you want to go through some charts with one of us, we are here to help. We are here. Just ask us for our booking link, and you can book a Calendly appointment with us, and we'll go through whichever ones you want. We've got access to all of them. There you go. Oh, and of course, Scotty. I do apologize. Scott's Orb is on there as well. Yeah, Scob. Scob. I might call it that. The Scob. Scott's Orb has been absolutely smashing it. I believe he's going through a little revision. There was a small loss on Friday, but orb strategies, they are snippets and they are big winners. But one loss does not tell you how good a strategy is. Yep. It definitely isn't. Yeah, Davion, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. I do apologize. I've apparently got a really bad tendency to pronounce people's names incorrectly. If you want to hear more about the MMA, please do get in contact. We are always around. And we have just released a new I love you too, Ida. I love you too, honey. We've just released a new signal, and we've got 2 more coming very, very soon. We've got one that's coming out that's going to be completely automated, which will just be part of the subscription. And it's just a few things that we're adding along with the YOLO. Dave, do you want to tell them about the YOLO?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it a bit on Friday. But it's just, Alf and I don't like to waste time in eval, so we like to pass them quick, and that means high risk trades with max size on whatever we're using. So, yeah, that should be coming out soon. Just to stack up some evals or some fundraising.
Basically, the theory is that we've currently got a high percentage pass rate in tricky trades. Let's not call them tricky trades. Let's call them risky trades with oversize. We are going to create a channel. Well, I've created a channel. We've just got to release it. Where what we'll do is we'll go in with max size on the account. It will most likely be a 50k account. We probably will do some 25s at some point, but it's a little bit trickier because different firms have different profit targets. And what we'll do is we are going to smash the back doors off some evals and get you some 1-day passes. So if you want to hear more about our YOLO system and the MMA signal, we're here. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Shall we move on? It's getting late, isn't it? We might have to start doing this earlier, Dave. I'm knackered.
Yeah. I'll be right back, man. My son's into something.
No stress, buddy. I got this. So let's talk about a little bit about the NAS and some levels going into next week. NQ September contract. What did it settle as? 29,387 Friday. Down that 2.1% on the week, worst of the majors for the duration reasons we covered. On Friday, we drew the box. We talked about some levels, 29,000 below, 30,000 above. Nothing has happened since that changes it. So that's pretty much it. So here it is. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So levels above 29,544 is Friday's first resistance. Then the big round number at the 30,000, that big psychological number that we love talking about. And then the 31,100, which is the contract high. Below that 29,300 is Thursday's settle. 29,225 is Friday's first support. And then 29,000 is the round number shelf, another one of those psychological ones. So there's 3 ways to play it even. And I want to flag the third one as the hardest, but generally the hardest ones come out the best. The pullback bid, dip into 29,225 to 29,300 and then target the 29,544, then the 30,000. Invalidate below the 29 if you can hold on that far anyway, but take that before Wednesday, 8:30, not after. You want the entry to have the room in front of the event, not to be sitting on it. If you like trading those events, I don't, but a lot of people do. But event fade, the only combination that gives you a real trend day down is the hot PCE. And David and I were talking about how much room it does have to go down, but it might be a soft NVIDIA guide. Both one without the other gets you the chop and the headache. Below the 29,000, and there's air to go down.
Yeah, we made a high, or a lower high, and that was in on Friday. So I definitely see room to the downside.
I do, and we were talking about that space to maneuver. But I can't, unless we get one of those events where we have an amazing reaction for NVIDIA, and then that just topples the deck of cards. I can see that happening, Dave, on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So do keep an eye out. We could get a nice long run down Wednesday if we do get some really positive NVIDIA results. So big move up and then gigantic reaction down. And this is what I was saying a little while ago. NVIDIA is one of those ones, as it is such a massive portion of the index. It can have a larger second reaction. It can topple some. It can topple some cards. It can topple some, Jenga blocks. So just keep an eye out for that one. It might be worth staying up a little bit late on Wednesday and keeping an eye on the charts. I definitely will be. But NVIDIA reports after the close. So the overnight session that follows is a gap. Not necessarily a trade, but it depends on how you're playing it. But the spreads widen, liquidity thins, and your size can get punished for those reasons that have absolutely nothing to do with whether you're right about the company. So keep an eye on the reaction. that's definitely worth understanding a little bit more. But in a thin overnight book, the distance between the buy price and the sell price, it gets wider. So you can be correct on the direction and still lose because you paid the spread on the way in and again on the way out. And your stop gets filled somewhere nobody would call fair. But being right is not the same as getting paid. Yeah, our systems, well, a lot of the automation and a lot of the ways we talked about hard alerting in. I call it a hard alert, and changing your alert to hard code some of those blackout filters in the algorithms. It's definitely worth doing that if you do have an overnight. Yeah. So what we got? We got some ES finally on the ES. ES 769.25 on the September contract Friday, down 1.4% after we've had that massive surge on the ES. Yeah, the Friday's line was 700, so reclaim it or reject it. That's what we're thinking. But 700 is the level, round number immediately overhead, first test. Above that, we're looking at 7,800. And the contract high is at 7838.50. So below, Thursday sell at 7662.50 and then 7600 and then 7500. The reclaim trade needs a call PCE behind it, then failed reclaim. Rejection at 7700 while the long and end sells off again. But it's the cleanest short on the board this week. So it's definitely one to watch. But do target that 7600. Yeah, I've had enough about the ES. I want to start. I think I might start another signal for ES and do a bit of one of our friends that love a bit of ES. But yeah. soon as the VIX warms up again, let's talk about gold. Gold, yeah, gold was quoted. A little bit of housekeeping. On Friday, gold was quoted at 468.8060 by one source and 4661.70 by another, and then by another one 4607.35 by a third. $70 apart. All three are reputable sources, but none of them are wrong. So they were quoting very different things. So the 4680 was the December COMEX future. That's our contract, the GCZ 26. The 4607 is the spot, and the middle one is a different timestamp. So, you know, you got to be careful which gold you're actually talking about, because, you know, eventually you'll get a bit embarrassed by someone else looking at the different screen. And more importantly, if you do set off an alert on one and execute off of the other, you've built a bug into your own process. So always quote the contract. It's muy importante. So what do we have for on the GCZ 26? 4680.60, up 2.4% almost. Friday, 3-month high, best month since January. So gold is finally getting that bit of love that we've been talking about for a while. But the drivers are the same story we've been talking about pretty much this whole time. Dollar at 3-month low, long end at 19-year high, and the central banks just bought 288.9 tons. Wow. In the second quarter, that's up 62% year on year. So levels, let's talk some levels. For the 4700 immediately overhead. Again, we like these round numbers for psychological levels. And then we've got the 4750 below. Thursday settle at 4571 and then 4500. So then the August base at 4400. So those are your levels. But do be cautious. The RSI above 70 overbought, walking into a PCE print and the Fed chair speech. So some big catalysts there for gold. The long trades are the trend trades, because, you know, technically I always prefer them, but a hot PCE and a hawkish wash in the same week gives you a fast, violent flush back towards 4,500. Obviously intraday only, but don't fall in love with the short, because gold is a fickle beast. I'm going to post the game plan, guys. I'll post something out there in the follow up because I'm conscious of time. Where are we now? We've got a little bit of time, I suppose. But let's go through our platform checklist, and I'll post a little bit more on the game plan. But the whole reason for the Sunday show is to make sure that your automation systems with ClearEdge are working, and you are giving yourself the best possible chance at kicking the back doors in, as I always say, kicking the granny out of the NQ or the ES or whatever you're trading. And we want to make sure that you know how things work, because the way that automation works, and especially if you're automating, and we hope you are automating with ClearEdge, is that it's a long chain of things, and if one tiny link in it isn't done correctly, it can really annoy you, because it can mean that your trades aren't executing the way that you want them to, or it can mean that your trades don't execute at all and you can miss that one big trade of the week. So please do listen in. If you are new to the platform, it's definitely worth taking note on our 7-point check, because it will save you a whole lot of stress. But number one, guys, I mean, Dave and I are we love this one because it does stop a lot of our support calls. Restart your machine. If you are running this locally, you need to give that poor computer a rest. Dave, tell him, will you, please? You there?
Oh. Yeah, I'm here. I just my son is screaming in the background, so
don't worry, I'll handle this. So just restart that poor computer. It doesn't matter what you're running. You're running this locally, running it on a VPS, all of them need a break. All of them need to reset and recalibrate and think about their lives, because you've been abusing them. The ClearEdge software, if you're not running it on a VPS, it does have to be run on a system that is consistently and always run on a stable internet connection and a stable power connection. If that bad boy goes out of power or your Wi-Fi drops and you are in the middle of a trade and you miss the exit or you miss the entry, it can really ruin your day. So we always recommend that you use a VPS because it's the most reliable way to do it. We do supply VPSs. We do have VPSs available, and they are very good. I love them. I run all my stuff out of an XL Linux. And you can get those on the ClearEdge platform, but we recommend you use a VPS because it's the most reliable way to use your ClearEdge software. So you're always connected to the internet and you always have power enabled. But if you are running locally, restart it. If you are running on a VPS, restart it. This is the time, this is the day to do it, on the Sunday before market open, or on the Saturday, but I like to do it on the Sunday so it's nice and fresh and ready to do war. Give it a restart, give it a reboot, and then turn your ClearEdge back on again. So you're going to have to log back in again. So when you log back in again, if we do updates, we try to do them over the weekend. We do update our ClearEdge software frequently, so it is the best possible version of itself. You will generally get an update over the weekend. I can't guarantee that it will always be the weekend, but when you do fire it up, and I recommend you do check at least that all of your agents and all of your brokers are running, and of course your ClearEdge software itself every day. But Sunday's the day to restart, do a reboot. But every day is the right day to check everything's working, and make sure when you do turn it back on Sunday, that you are running the most up-to-date version of the software. If you are not running the most up-to-date version of the software, there will be a green banner that appears at the top of your ClearEdge platform when you open the program itself, whether it's on the VPS or locally, it matters not. It will be the same. It's the same piece of software, and it will say update to blah 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 version 1. Blah 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 blah. Click on that. Always click on it. Always update it. It will restart. It will restart the program, and then make sure you're booted back up again. Always update to the latest version, guys, because we wouldn't release it if it wasn't necessary. Okay. Then you need to turn on your ClearEdge. Make sure that your brokers are turned on, the ones that you want to be anyway, and of course your agents. If you need help with that, we've got lots of how-to videos, and we've always got the lovely Lilu. Lilu is our AI lady that we've spent a very long time programming to be smarter than me. click on her. Use her. She is wonderful, and she will answer pretty much any question that you've got apart from the meaning of life. So try her out. If she fails and the how-to videos, you can't find the how-to videos, if you ask her for the how-to videos, she'll supply them to you. She'll give you a link to the YouTube. But if that doesn't work, give us a shout in the Discord and we will show you how to do exactly what you can't figure out. But number 3, alerts and webhooks. Depending on how complicated you are, I'm a complicated little sausage, and I like to have lots of different alerts for different things and different prices going on for my my automation. I have lots and lots of different things. Always name your alert something that's memorable. So if you've got something that works, that's got a nice chop filter in, or I don't know, depending on how you want to do it, always name something that identifies the algorithm, the instrument, and the time frame. Because a lot of people, if you are like myself, will run same things or similar things on different time frames for different reasons. But always do that and make sure that you've got the correct ones turned on for what you're trying to do. Because turning an alert off, if you do turn alerts off or you do restart alerts or whatever, it's the time to check it out. I like to check out every single night that I'm running what I want to run, especially if you gate hard gate, like I said, your algorithms, and you start a new alert for a day that you want to gate out a particular time frame where we've got some red folder releasing, that you want to make sure that you're not in a trade going into that. That's a smart way of doing it. But this is where you can make the mistakes, and mistakes are made generally by the humans that create the systems, not the computers and the systems themselves. So this is where you need to double check what your plan is and what your plan is actually going ahead. But one other thing I've had a lot of recently, so I've had a lot of people that are using multiple alert software, automation software. TradingView is intuitive. It's infuriating, but it's intuitive. So what will happen is if you're using multiple automation systems, it will snap back your webhook to the previously generated alert webhook that you have used. So the last one that you have used, the last webhook that you've used, won't necessarily be the one that you are creating the alert for next time. So guys, if you are using more than one piece of alert software, something different to ClearEdge for different bits and bobs, make sure you're checking every single time that you're creating an alert that you've got the correct webhook, because trust me, that will ruin your day. And this is the time afterwards. Number 4, check your calendar gating. As I just said, if you are doing it that way, you've got multiple ways you can do it. You can hard gate it into your algorithm itself if you're a really smart cookie, or you can just turn that bad boy off and on. And there's multiple ways to turn it off and on. You can turn it off at your alert itself, but obviously make sure that you're not in a trade first or flattened, but afterwards, if you do want to exit the trade and not go into a period that you don't want to be in trade, like Wednesday, for example, or you can turn it off directly at the agents on your ClearEdge software. But guys, please do. And I've had some people come back to me with this, crying that they didn't check that they were in trade first and then turned their alert off, and then suddenly their accounts are kaput because they were in a trade and they didn't catch the exit signal, and it went into a huge red folder event which went skyrocketing or through the basement. And yeah, it was easily avoided. Do the extra work, do the routine, get it into your plan to turn and check. So double check you're not in a trade if you ever do turn anything off. It's a big thing. But that goes straight into our kill switch. A kill switch is a good way to make sure if you've forgotten about some red folder and you've just seen it, it's about a minute to go, and you're in 3 different trades on 4 different brokers on 4 different algorithms or something like that, or just one, you can hit the panic button, the kill switch on your ClearEdge system, and that will exit all of your trades. You'll have to reactivate all of your agents independently one by one when you do want to go back online again. But it's a great way of saying that's the holy shit button. And it works. So have a pop at that. Another thing, guys, the daily stops. So your daily targets and stops. This is something that I will change frequently, depending on how close I am to a profit target, depending on how close I am to a payout. That's the big one. That's the one everyone's looking for. Check how much money you need to pass your eval. Check how much money you need to pay out. Take your payouts when you can take them. You know, I'm not a big buffer person, and I never have been. When I've got a payout available, I'll take that bad boy. You don't have to do what I do, but you know, I've been doing it okay for a while. You know?
I pull out to my buffer every time with my Blue Sky account. It's like I have a cash account with them, the brokerage account, and they like tell you with the information when you first start your brokerage account with them. They're like, this is meant to like build up and like to grow this account. And I'm like, nope, I just take out to buffer every single time.
And so you should, my friend. So you should.
I'm like, dude, why would I want to grow an account that I have to give you guys 10%? I'll just do that in my cash account. And
Exactly. I'm a firm believer of taking out everything you can when you've got it. You know, I'm not saying when you're $50 over, but you know, these accounts,
they have a minimum payout, so you can't do $50.
Yeah, no, they do have a minimum payout, and if you withdraw under a certain amount, they charge you for transaction fees as well, don't they? So do be mindful of that, because you would not be the first person, and if you've been doing this a while, to build up a buffer and then go on tilt and kill it all, because I've done it. I don't know if David's done it because he's a cool cucumber, but you wouldn't be the first person to make a monumentous cock up like that. So set your stops, give yourself a daily target, okay? And it doesn't have to be the same every single day, guys. The market will give you what the market will give you. Look for your setups, look for what you're looking for. Have a plan going into it, whether you're manually trading or automating, and just say you're done when you're done, because again, if you've got a figure in your mind that you want to make every single day, you're giving yourself an expectation, and you're giving yourself something that you shouldn't, that will be at your disadvantage. And it will be at your disadvantage because the market doesn't give a flying monkeys what your profit target is, how good you are on 80% of the days. It doesn't care, because it's the 20 days that will 20% even, that will catch you out if you've got that figure in your mind and you don't stop until you've made it. Okay, so just walk away when you've made enough, and that is the end of it. But this is the time to set your TPs and your stops. Get your head in it, plan for the next day, and just leave whilst you've got your accounts hopefully still intact. And the last one on the board, guys, this is so important. For me, this is the most important one. The most important one, journaling. Now, I harp on about journaling every Sunday because it is the most powerful tool for the trader, especially. That was my David impression, my James Bond impression, especially. Mesh money penny. Journaling. So why is it the most important thing? It's the most important thing because of the same thing that I say every Sunday, and that is the definition of insanity. Insanity and madness is defined as doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And if you don't write it down and you don't record what you've done, you're not going to remember the same thing that happened every single time. You need to write these things down. You need to write up your setups that worked, especially, and the ones that didn't work. Because if you see a pattern, and this is all about patterns, trading is all about patterns. It's all about things that you can exploit. We call them edges. It's in the company name. Like, you need to record these edges, because once you've found one and it works it can work again. And if it doesn't work next time, you need to write down that it hasn't worked next time, and you need to figure out what market conditions and what made it work and what made it didn't work. And you can only do that as if you write it down, because unless you have an eidetic memory, there's one for you, you're not going to remember everything that happened on that chart at that moment. But there it is. All right, you've heard me talk too much. Let's do this bad boy, shall we, Davey Dave?
Let's do it. All right. So, extra entries that I gave today. Well, let me share my screen first. And all right. Are we seeing the wheel of names?
No, we're just seeing you are sharing your entire screen.
Okay. I don't know why I did that.
I've removed mine now.
Okay. You can see it.
We got it.
All right. So I gave extra entries today to Static Forest,
Good old Static.
Davion. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but probably not. Let's see. Ada got an extra entry because she said that Alfie and I were the bomb, so she gets an extra entry.
We the bomb.
And then JTV for interacting on the chat a lot.
Thank you very much, JTV.
And so those are who I picked out for today's extra entries.
So basically, this is peppered with favoritism today. And we're allowed to do it because we've got the controls.
Yeah.
David, let's do this. Spin that bad boy.
All right, let's do it.
Who we got? 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 I can't see. It's too small.
Static Forest.
Static. Congratulations, Monsieur Static. You are the proud owner and the proud recipient of a indeterminate size Blue Sky account. It might be a big one. It might be a small one. Take this as a second competition.
Yep.
Well, congratulations, my friend. I need you to do a couple of things. I need you to send me, if you already have a Blue Sky account, I need you to send me your email that corresponds to your account. It has to be that one. If it's the wrong one, you're not going to get it, and I'm going to keep it. So send me that over. I'll send it to the lovely people at Blue Sky, and they will get your account, hopefully, fingers crossed, up and running and ready to blow. I mean, when tomorrow open. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. I do apologize.
Yeah. They do ask for at least 24 hours.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Justin did say yesterday on Friday, if it doesn't come straight away, it will be activated, fingers crossed, by Tuesday. So Static, congratulations, my friend. We do love you. For all of those who haven't won yet, let us know, and we'll put you in an extra entry next week on Friday. But guys, always a pleasure, never a chore. Have a wonderful week of trading. If you guys want to hear anything about any of the marketplace items, or if you have any issues with your Clear Edge systems, do give us a call. We're here to help. All right.
All right, guys.